What is up, y'all? It's your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back. I just want to do a quick video. No Time to Die. Just got a chance to watch it. I'm not going to go through the plot or anything. I'm just going to talk about stuff that I like, stuff that I didn't like, because you're most likely going to watch it yourself. So let's just jump into it. Number one, the Billie Eilish theme for this movie is terrible. I loved all the songs that they done for the Daniel Craig James Bonds, except this one. This one is terrible. It's so terrible that it stands out how terrible it is, if that makes any sense. Like, you can't tell me there wasn't other songs and other... I mean, you still could have had her sing it, but just picked a different song or had a different producer, because this is not, especially for the last Daniel Craig James Bond in the last movie of this storyline, not good. It is not good. But one of the things I like, though, the film started off and they were dealing with the whole Vespa stuff. And he goes to her grave and he puts it behind him, which is cool that they wrap that up, because this has just been like, you know, the monkey on his back through all these movies is her memory. So it was cool to see him kind of put it to rest. And let me just do a little side note here. Eva Green is one of the sexiest women of all time. She has natural sexiness. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but there's women who they have manufactured sexiness. They have sexiness that they've learned, you know, to obtain. And then there's Eva Green. She's one of the women that she's just naturally sexy. I bet when she wakes up in the morning and has stinking morning breath, she's still sexier than 99% of the women in the world. She is smoking hot. But he goes and visits her grave to try to put, you know, just put his mind to rest. Because that's, excuse me, that's been like the thing through this whole series. That's been the one thing that's just really, it's just been a ghost. And it was cool to see him kind of put that to rest. But then that jumps right into an action scene, and it is awesome. The action scene that it leads into is, it looks like it's straight up out of a Captain America movie. And that's one thing about Cary Fukunaga. I think that's how you say his name. If I got it wrong, whatever, just roll with it. But man, he is just, the action scenes in this are just really original. They're well put together. I don't know how to verbalize just how different and how good they are. But I mean, if you know what kind of director he is, would you expect anything less? This is the same guy that did True Detective Season 1. I could just stop right there, because True Detective Season 1 is better than some Hall of Fame directors' whole careers. And that's a HBO show. Those aren't films. If you haven't seen True Detective Season 1, go watch it right now. Binge watch it. Do this. Call your work tonight. Tell your work that your aunt died. Binge watch True Detective Season 1 tonight. Sleep in tomorrow. You're welcome. You know, the dead aunt thing works every time. Every time. So they go into a cool action scene, yada, yada, yada. And I just want to say, Cary Fukunaga, there's a scene with Bond and Ana de Armas. I'm not sure if that's how you say her name, but let me just say first about her. She, right now, as of today, she is the hottest Bond girl of all time. I don't care what you say, because I can't hear you, so of course I don't care what you say, but Ana de Armas is the hottest Bond girl, period, hands down. I'd take her on her period. I don't care. She is smoking hot. Ben Affleck, you went from that to J-Lo. Man, my condolences, homeboy. But there's a scene where Bond and Ana de Armas, they're just tearing it up. And it could easily be something out of an 80s movie. When you see it, you'll understand. But when you look at scenes from 80s movies now, there's, you know, you eye roll and you're like, oh, God, like, you know, 90% of the time. Because, you know, at the time they thought it was cool, but a lot of that doesn't age well. With this, it seems like it's a scene that could be in an 80s movie, but you're not rolling your eyes at it at all. It's just, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a really good scene. It has cool moments within that scene, and he knows how to make it work, because he's just flat out an awesome director. And I was slightly disappointed with this movie, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this dude has the goods. He is awesome. Another thing about him, not only did he do True Detective Season 1, the director, but he also did a movie called Beasts of No Nation. Now, if you're into movies, you'll notice when somebody directs a movie, if it's a hit or if it's a big movie, and then there's a sequel or, you know, something related to that universe after, they seem to stay on as a screenwriter or, you know, executive producer or something. So I am hoping and praying that this leads to him staying with the Bond franchise in some capacity, but that opening the door to Idris Elba, because he directed Idris Elba in Beast of No Nation, which is an amazing, amazing film. If you've never seen it, again, say that your other aunt died and watch it tonight and then sleep in tomorrow. But I'm hoping that this opens the door for him to finally be James Bond. I won't accept anybody else as James Bond. If you say Tom Hardy, I just shut up. Seriously, shut up. Henry Cavill, I've been hearing a lot about Henry Cavill. No, he's an excellent Superman, but I can't see him as James Bond. They would have to totally retool that character. Just totally turn it into something that I have zero interest in to have it work with Henry Cavill. I don't want to see it. But let's get back to Ana de Armas. Okay, her character works for the FBI. She pops up in a scene with Bond. She helps him out. They get in a cool gunfight, fist fight against a whole bunch of people. Then he leaves and she's like, bye, see it. She's gone. That's it. Then they bring in this new 007. And you know what I'm talking about. It's the ugly broad with the big eyebrows, with no screen presence. Nobody wanted her. She's terrible. So they bring her in. You could have had Ana de Armas' character stay with Bond and play that role through the whole movie. For some reason, they wanted to cut that short. Yeah, let's just cut short the girl that has mad charisma, that's super hot, that's just, electrifying on the screen in this role. Let's just cut that short and let's bring in this boring James Bond that nobody has wanted from jump. And when you see the movie, you'll be comfortable with your opinion that you didn't want this, that she's garbage, because that's exactly what this character is and how it's played. It's straight up garbage. There's no redeemable qualities about this female 007. The actress, again, has no charisma, no screen presence. She's not beautiful. The character, it just is terrible, and I do not like it, especially when you consider the fact that they could have had Ana de Armas' character play that role through the whole movie and just not even bring in that female 007. That was a terrible decision. That was awful. So now I'm going to skip to the end, and I'm going to bring up a couple things. If you don't want to know these huge spoilers, just shut this video off, okay? So I'm going to give you a second. All right, they're gone. In the end, James Bond dies. And there's a scene where Q and everybody, they're back at, I think it's MI6. I can't remember their organization. I'm ashamed to admit that I can't remember it. But they're having their own little memorial for Bond. They're having it in one of the offices, and they're pouring drinks for everybody. And they're just reminiscing on him. And these are his friends, his core group of friends, people that have been in the trenches with him, people that know him the best. For some reason, the new 007 is there. The girl Bond, the garbage actress, the terrible character is there. Why? Why are you there? She barely knows him. And even in this movie, the time that she spends with him, it's very sporadic and quick. Why is she there? And that just totally, that was a huge L for me as far as that movie goes, is having her in that scene. Especially right in the end. You're wrapping everything up. You're like, man, Daniel Craig is done with Bond. You watch him die. You watch him get incinerated. So there's not going to be any, he came, like, what was it? Halloween 4, when they had Loomis and Michael Myers come back after they just got blown to bits, and then they have a little bit of scarring. No, they're not going to do that. But that's what the scene is him just getting evaporated. So, like, to have her in that is it's such a terrible thing to have in the end. Also, okay, just the way the Daniel Craig version of 007, the way it ended, with him not having any happiness. It seems that he had little shreds of happiness in between the movies. Because, a movie will end, and then the next movie will start to where he's living in some villa or something like that, and then trouble comes calling for him. But he doesn't have that much time to just relax and just live his life and be happy, especially after the whole Vespa thing and just, people he cared about dying and just all this. You would think that character deserves some happy ending, but no. It just ends just like the Wolverine saga, and I hated that. I hated that Wolverine, when you go back and watch it, it is nothing but misery for the Wolverine character through the whole series of movies that he's in. And then he just dies, and it's just... And I had a friend who wanted Captain America to not... I'm kind of skipping to different characters, but you know, kind of the same thing where he didn't like that Captain America ended up with Peggy in the end of Endgame. And I'm like, dude, did you want another Wolverine where somebody was just sacrificing themselves and giving themselves and never getting anything in return and then just dying alone and just never finding true happiness? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't care about all these people as far as Endgame goes that are like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense with the timelines. And I don't care. As long as he ended up with Peggy and was happy, I was happy. And that's the problem that I think with this Bond franchise is like, yeah, they wanted it dark and everything like that, but if you've invested so much time in a character and you care about a character and, you know, you want a happy ending. Everybody wants a happy ending. I mean, me personally, I love, especially, you know, movies like The Empire Strikes Back. Escape from New York is my favorite movie, and that has one of the darkest endings. You know, The Thing, that's my favorite horror movie, has one of the darkest endings. So, I mean, I love dark endings, but not when it's a hero character that sacrifices so much of himself. I want some kind of happy ending, and he just did not get it in this. And right now, as far as just watching it, I don't like it. I think the movie is a competent movie. It has a great director. It has a great cast, except for the female 007. But right now, how I feel about this movie, I tend to lean towards the negative than the positive. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I kind of felt the same way I felt about Jackie Brown with that movie. But then I went back like 2 months later and watched it and absolutely loved it and thought it was genius. So who knows? 2 months from now, I could go back and watch No Time to Die and just think it's, you know, the best Daniel Craig James Bond movie. Who knows? But right now, as it stands, there's just a lot of stuff that I don't like about it. So from my 0 to 10 dog bone rating, I'm going to give it a 6. And I was going to give it a 5.5. And I hate that because I want to love this movie. I love the director. I love the cast, except for the female 007. I should love this movie. I should just, you know, have nothing but glowing things to say about it, but I don't. I just feel kind of a downer and kind of disappointed about the movie. So check it out yourself. Get your own opinion. Again, I'm probably going to go back. I'm going to wait a few months. I'm going to let it breathe like some fine wine. Go back and try it again. I might have a different opinion. If I do, I'm going to make a review for the 2 people that care. But as far as it goes right now, I give it 6 dog bones. No Time to Die. This is your boy Winston Wolf. I'm out.